And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, oh, we may have just lost Oliveira. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second match of the night. Welcome to Coliseum 8 Group D, day number 1. We just wrapped up with Clem versus Oliveira. Now we are here with Oliveira versus Spirit in a TvT. Again, we have many other competitors in this group, not just Clem and Oliveira, but Spirit and Down as well. And last series, we were robbed of the TvT. Now we can embrace it. The Terran versus Terran is upon us. Game 1 is going to be an El Dorado. Game 2 Amygdala, and Game 3, I don't quite remember. We're jumping into Game 1. I was reading them out. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have... Oh my god! Wait, what? In the bottom left, we have Spirit. In the bottom right, he has been inspired. He has seen the light, Papi. Oh my god, it isn't just Clem. It isn't just Rainer. It is Spirit as well. Sorry, it is Oliveira as well as Oliveira. He is playing Protoss. Oh boy. We're never going to see a TvT again. Let's go. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Now, we have seen certain players off race before. Like, I've casted Dark play Protoss. I've casted Hero play Terran, for example. I've casted Chan play Terran. I have never casted Oliveira play Protoss, though. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I'm curious to see what his skill level is with his Protoss. Oh, boy. So best of luck in the chat. Really... have we begun a trend? You know, again, like, it is not unheard of for players to play Protoss instead of mirror matchups. As I mentioned before, Rainer, for example, Jim Rising is another big example. Eva, of course, is an example. There's a lot of examples of Zerg players playing Protoss to avoid ZVZ. Now that Clem has also taken the initiative, are we going to be seeing a rise in Terran players also play Protoss instead to avoid TvT? Have we begun a trend? Is it possible? A year from now in StarCraft, like 2026, are mirror matchups gonna be like abolished, and it's just purely Protoss versus like whoever plays their main race, or does everything turn into PvPs? Like, is that where we end up? Is that the future of StarCraft? Just pure PvPs? Oh no, not like this. For now, though, we're settling in. For now, we are going to be settling into our openers. Spirit does SCV Scout. See, this is where I would have loved to have seen Spirit's camera. I would have loved to have seen his camera here. I mean, I say that Spirit, he is notorious for not really having, you know, much emotion. Like, be out there, he's not the most emotive of players, so maybe he wouldn't have had a reaction or response anyway, but it would have been nice to have seen, you know, maybe like a little smirk, or maybe like the eyes widening a little bit, and at least some acknowledgement to the fact that Oliveira is playing Protoss. Regardless, it's fine, it's fine. As we get into our matchup, Twilight Council opener out of Oliveira, working towards Blink. Meanwhile, we do see Spirit across the map getting into his own CC, his own economic opener, as Spirit did open up Rax Expand. Here we go. No one wants to play TvT. No one. That's what I mean, though. Like, what do we do? Like in my world, like in my mind, I'm picturing a future, right? I'm picturing a future where no one wants to play TvTs, and we end up in a scenario where it's like a game of chicken, where it's like one, like it's like, imagine like Cure versus Beyond, and they both want to play Protoss, but they don't want to play PvP. So it's like, who gets to play Terran and who gets to play Protoss? Like, that's what I'm envisioning. I'm like, I can see them both like in like the lobby chat, like arguing, like I want to play Protoss. It's like, no, I want to play Protoss. It's like, but I don't want to play PvP. And then you like play a game of chicken to see like what race they land on coming into the game. Like, who gets to play Protoss but avoid PvP, but also avoid TvT as well. And like, you got all this, no. The drama. Is that the future? We'll see. For now, we're getting into our 1-1-1. Going to be a Banshee-based opener out of Spirit. So Banshee's going to be on the way. Hellion Harass here towards the natural. There is a shield battery, though, and not too much damage is being done here, but some of the pros, they line up. Yeah, they do line up out of range. The shield battery pros are finally going to be going down, and two Hellies, they bust into the main. Oliveira is getting pulled apart. Does have some stalkers in position, but workers are falling. Ooh, and they line up once again. 7 probes. And he's not done. He is not done. 9 probes. 10 probes going down. And this early on at this level of play, this is too much damage. 10 worker kills. Again, Oliveira, he had a decent defense at his third base, but in the main base, again, he was just out of position. It did take him one second too long to respond in time, and Spirit isn't done. Cloak, I believe, has been researched, and the Observer's on the way. Until it does get in position, this Banshee is going to wreak havoc. Oh boy. The one Observer has arrived, it's rallied across the map, but we're going to have to recall back into the main. As that one Observer is the only form of detection that Oliveira has. Banshee dips in, and probes are going down. Do we have a recall? The Observer is still not quite on the way. No, it doesn't turn around. Oh, there's a recall. There's a recall back home. 7 more probe kills. And that's going to be 8, it's going to be up to 9, going to be up to 10, that's going to be 11? 12? Not quite 12. 11 probes. You know what that means? That means 21 workers. 21 workers have gone down. Between the Hellion harass and the Banshee harass, that is game-ending damage. Like those are losses you cannot afford, not against a player of the caliber of Spirit. And with that Spirit, he's gearing up. He is ahead. He's ahead economically, going to be ahead of the army. Now, Spirit most likely will not move out without Stim. As you can see, Stim is still on the way, +1 is still on the way, so Oliveira, he has time to try to recover in some way. He can go for like DT counterattack, War Prism harass, he can be active with his Stalkers. There are ways to bounce back in this game, but it is going to be difficult. And again, he's going to have to rely on Spirit making mistakes. As Oliveira is behind. Straight up, he is behind at this point, and he is working towards Storm. Another way to come back in this game would have been to rush into Disruptors, or this, rushing into Storm. And there is a world where if Spirit doesn't split well enough, if he doesn't control well enough, he may lose his army to a handful of Storms. Like, there is still potential for Oliveira to bounce back in this game, even being down in supply. But there is a lot working against it. So if our Spirit getting his 3rd CC, not a 2-base all-in, so he is gearing up. That's why we force everyone to go random. I mean, this is where I have to push back, because I remember last time he casted Clem playing Protoss, there was some people like, yo, is there a world where Clem becomes the first pro random player? I would push back against that and say, if anything, he's going to play anything but random, because like he's intentionally trying to avoid matchups, and playing random means that there is a chance that he plays the matchup that he wants to avoid, right? Like, so if anything, Clem would be like a race picker sort of thing, where even if he becomes like as good as this Terran with Zerg and Protoss, he would like specifically pick races and pick matchups, I should emphasize. As here we go, Storm, the splits against the Storms. Oh my god, the Storms, they do pop off. 1, 2 Storms gonna be landing, there's another Storm. But despite the Storms, Spirit, he's still pushing in. As he's making his way into the natural, depowering the gateways, busting into the mineral lines, probes are going to be going down. No Storms quite available yet, but the bio is overstimmed, is very battered, very bruised. Last the natural taking a lot of hits though, and he's going for the Nexus. Can he get it? Up! Can he get the base? Oliveira, he's holding, shuts down the bio, barely saves the Nexus. Oh my god, 100 HP. Does survive. I think this is 100. And with that Spirit, he's being forced back. Mindshell going off. Ooh, brutal connections. The Observers, they barely survive. But GG gets called as reinforcements, they rally across the map, and Spirit takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Rainer's the world's first pro random? You mean, that's a weird way of spelling balloon. What are you talking about? Hi. But Spirit, he does take game number 1, and I'm curious to see if Oliveira commits to Protoss. Now, what I will say is that game 1 didn't really show us Oliveira's skill in Protoss, just because he was playing from behind. The reality is he was just straight up playing from behind the entire game. After losing 21 probes, I mean, even put Maxfax in that position, even put Hero in that position, the outcome would most likely be the same. Just too far behind at that point to really keep up with Spirit. So if Oliveira can have a cleaner early game, if he can get into the mid game in a good position, I look forward to seeing how he compares to Spirit. I want to see. Here we go. It's confusing to me because I remember watching somebody else say allowed the Flash to play a different race. They did allow that to happen. Did happen. Would be fun if they threw in a feature where if you pick a race, your opponent doesn't know what you picked. Oh, I'm not fond of that idea just because the veto process is usually very much so reliant on knowing what race you're playing against and what matchup you're playing in. Like a lot of the veto process is centered around that. So I feel like a lot would have to change if something like that were implemented. Meanwhile, top right we have Oliveira, bottom left we have Spirit. Let's go. As Oliveira, he commits into Protoss, and again, I'm hoping for a cleaner early game. I want to see how Oliveira's Protoss compares to Spirit. I'm sure he's playing it for good reason, and I want to see him take down Spirit. I want to see it happen. I want an ace match. Give us an ace match, man. Give us an ace match. Rainer tried to win tournaments playing random, so did Balloon. Yeah, that's true. It is known Rainer was a big Balloon fan. Kappa. He was the only dedicated random, as far as I know. I think so. Yeah. For those who weren't watching in Heart of the Swarm, and even I'm not sure if he was active pre-Heart of the Swarm, but Balloon, he was on My Insanity. He had really good English as well. You know, I remember I was a big fan of Balloon, watching him many a time at Home Story Cup, for example, in a lot of foreign events. Thanks to his good English, he would often like translate for other Koreans in the scene, like whenever interacting with foreigners or interviews, for example. A very good player. We miss our Balloon. I'll always remember the tug of war. I'll always remember the tug of war. Oh god, I can't quite remember the 5 players. It was 5 Koreans against Targa and Jeff. Good times. It was Balloon, it was Jackchi, I think, was Tasia there? I remember Jackchi, maybe Daisy as well. Good times. But now though, I'm gonna be settling in. Is gonna be a Stargate opener instead of Twilight Council from Oliveira. Okay, you have my attention. So Stargate play into, I would imagine, Phoenixes, potentially Oracle. Interesting placement for that SCV, and we see why. Spirit, he's going for a proxy starport. Now, this could be one of two things. This could be a Hellion drop into the main. Hallucination does confirm the 1-1. Hallucination also confirms that the third building is missing, but could it just be delayed? Or he sees! He knows. Whew, Oliveira, okay, he is aware of the proxy. Now, this could be a Hellion drop, or it could be Hellion harassed into the natural with a proxy liberator. Both are viable, both are possible, either a proxy lib or medevac. Regardless, the starport is denied and will not complete. So nicely done here by Oliveira. Does shut down the initial build. Now, Hellions are still active. Hellions, they can still threaten the base. There we go, starport is cancelled. And do we have a force field? Oh, not quite. We force field the ramp. Hellions get locked down towards the natural. Takes 3 shots here to kill a probe. 1, 2, there's a third shot. 1 probe goes down. He gets 1, he gets 2. 2 probe kills, not bad. 2 workers to 2 Hellions. I mean, ideally, Spirit did want a little bit of a more efficient trade. And with that, Oliveira, he should hold. And now we can embrace a longer game state. Now, Spirit, he throws down a CC, going for his third command center in the main. Very greedy here, very fast third base. Phoenixes, they do dip in. At the same time, Hellies, they bust into the main. Ooh, that should not have happened. They do get into the main base. 1 Hellion getting caught out. Probes falling in the main. Getting 2, getting up to... Ooh, 3 probe kills. So not the worst trades here to Spirit. That's 5 probes for 4 Hellions. Again, ideally he did want something better there. Oliveira gains map control. And Oliveira gonna try to punish Spirit. He does not quite get an SCV. Cyclone will zone the army back. So far, Spirit, he's holding on. So Oliveira is being active, still looking for another way in. So far, the Cyclone's out of position. Oliveira does get into the main, doesn't quite delay the starport, but we'll get an SCV. Oh, the turret isn't done. Plus, Oliveira, he will back up. Doesn't risk it. From here, Oliveira getting his own third base. Storm is on the way, charge as well, get into his own gateway explosion. So far, Oliveira at least holding his own. And again, like as I mentioned before, I've never witnessed Oliveira's PvT matchup. So I'm curious to see how he compares to Spirit in the mid game. Now, bearing in mind, Spirit did go for a very greedy build. He rushed into a third CC, and it wasn't really delayed. He didn't lose too many SCVs. So this is a very fast third base, and Spirit is going to get it up and running. And I would say that Oliveira, he has been unable to really punish it. Friends the main. Phoenixes, they shut down. Oh, they almost catch one of the Phoenixes. They get away in time. Stim has been delayed in favor of the third. I mean, a lot of the production was delayed as well. It's a very greedy play here by Spirit. Likewise, Marines are in position. As Oliveira, he does rally out. A bold move for Oliveira to be active like this. He does have a lot of High Templar, but bearing in mind there's no War Prism. There's no War Prism with this army. There's no reinforcements. Very risky considering Stim is about to finish. But Oliveira, he sees that mineral line. He wants it. He wants to make it rain. Wants to make it storm. Let's go. Getting a fourth base behind this. Fourth Nexus on the way for Oliveira. So Oliveira does get on top of the bunker. Bunker's going to go down. He wants that mineral line. He's holding onto the storms. So far, it doesn't quite commit. Yeah, not yet. Pulls away for now. Does pull away. Slow reinforcements as Oliveira is posturing outside the base. Do see Spirit going for the drop across the map. Pylon gets shut down. Double drop towards the third base. Oliveira not quite in position. And forced to recall. Thankfully does recall in time. The storm's going off. Feedbacks as well. Oliveira holds. Oliveira, he does hold on. You know what? Spirit's still building up. Medevac gets hunted down. Both Medevacs even. Takes out the Medevacs, bleeds out the Phoenixes in the process. Spirit, he rotates, he responds. That's a brutal minefield here that is set up. And Spirit, he still has that supply lead, and the big reason for this is because of how fast his third base was. But I'm going for these main pushes, though, instead of going for drop play. So triple drop towards the right. Oliveira does split up his army, at least he tries to. He's distracted by the main army. Most of the army does respond. Recalls on cooldown, and Oliveira is out of position. Yeah, Probe's going to be falling. Oliveira, he's trying to respond. And that's going to be 14 workers going down. Ay. Not like 15 workers even. And he's being pulled apart. At this point, he's being pulled apart completely here. The mineral line goes down, drop into the main. Nice storm drops on the main army. The storms are good, but is it enough? And I'm not sure it is. The drop is still active. Ghosts have arrived. EMPs are available. Oh, another storm. the storm goes off as we hear the muffled screams of a Marauder. Ay, ay, ay. The Marauder calm down, and GG gets called, as again it's just too much to handle, and Spirit Team will take the series at 2-0, taking down Oliveira. GG, well played. Shout out to Oliveira though for, of course, embracing something a little bit different, for playing the Protoss matchup instead. And again, I'm not really too familiar with his Protoss, so I'm not, and even coming into this game as well, like, it was just a really awkward opener for Oliveira. Spirit, he did respond in such a greedy fashion, got away with a fast third base, took a supply lead as well, and Oliveira was not able to keep up with the drop play with the harassment of Spirit. He was torn apart. So GG, well played. Spirit does take it, and now we have one series left in tonight's broadcast. Up next after the break, Clem versus Zound. Now, every series so far, we've had to adjust these race logos, and we haven't really gotten what we expected. Here, it should be another TVP. Pure TVPs tonight. Just nothing but Protoss, nothing but Terran. Let's go. And this match should be much more competitive as well, of course. Zound, this is one of his strongest matchups. Zound, he's of course recently returning from the military, and I would say that Zound's best matchups are PvP and PvT. PvZ is his weakest matchup, is where Zound struggles the most, but I don't see a Zerg player here. I don't see a Zerg opponent. I see only Terran and Protoss, so Zound, he can do quite well here. I want to believe. I want to believe he can contest, and he can threaten Clem. We'll be back after the break with the final best of 3. See you soon. See you soon.